I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, November the 17th, brought to you in part by Norphenacol by Norbrook. When only speed wins the race against bovine respiratory disease. Active ingredient florphenacol reaches therapeutic blood levels in the lungs within 30 minutes. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Report peaking? Oh, we hate to think that could be true, but on the last cattle and feed report nearly a month ago, I kind of jokingly referred to the movie Trading Places, where they had a report that was peaked at. I don't even know if that's possible. Not sure exactly how that works. You would think that it wouldn't be, but gosh, it sure smells funny when the last report that came out on the Thursday before that Friday, your feeder cattle futures were down $5. And then this Thursday, as we have a report coming out here today on Friday, your back months were down $3 plus, and the board had been being friendly all week here, and then took it all away in one session. But you know, I was thinking that especially your placement value on the cattle on feed report was projected to be up there so high at 107. I thought maybe we had a chance for that to be a bullish report. But now I'm thinking maybe not. And somebody knows something, I guarantee you. But I tell you what, these funds and the traders and the algorithms have used and abused the cattle futures over the last month, something terrible. And it's getting to the point where these cow-calf producers that are trying to get their once-a-year check, they despise these futures right now. It's taking money out of their pocket. It's taking shoes off their kids' feet. It's taking food out of their mouth. But it's just so frustrating to watch them take so much of that away. And I think a lot of it has to do with the algorithms. But you know, we as producers thought that we had found something in the LRPs that was away from the futures. Of course, anybody that knows what's going on knows that your insurance companies have to lay that pressure off. But it just seems like that your algorithms and those that are just out to make a quick buck are just waiting for those insurance companies to lay that risk off of themselves and then ride that wave and push that market down as much as they can, not caring at all about the participants in the industry. And it's very, very frustrating. But this exhausting futures sell-off that we've seen here day after day, and then we climb a little bit for 2 or 3 days and then take it all back again, and for no reason really, and fundamentally we're still sitting the same place we were over a month ago before this thing started doing that. But like I said, it's just very, very frustrating, and we hope that things are on the up and up. But you look at the world and it seems like nothing is on the up and up, and so you think that it's probably possible that something could be done like that. But gosh dang, if we can't count on anything, you know, it's a hard way to make a living there. But a lot of bearishness has already been figured into the market before this cattle on feed report. And the cattle on feed report comes out at 2 o'clock Central. That's after the board closes, so we'll see what happens during the trading day on Friday. But then we all have to fear and regret and be nervous about what happens Tuesday or Friday afternoon. And then it'll be a tough weekend to wait and see what it's going to be after that. But it seems like all the powers that be within the industry are pretty sure this is going to be just as bearish as what your average of the analyst guess is. And if it is, you know, then we're in for another big sell-off. But we'll just have to wait and see. Your Packers sure liked it, and it seems like the timing is just perfect for them. It was perfect right before the last cattle on feed report, because we were just about to break into new ground. We were going to go past that 188, the all-time record high price that's been paid on a direct basis, negotiated in the 5-area feeding region, and then sky was the limit. And then we had that big sell-off, and then it fell back. And then we've been scraping and clawing trying to get some of that back. It seemed absolutely evident that on Thursday we were going to get 180 There was some rumors of some call-in 180. They were ready to give 180. We thought that the 180 we were going to get back, which would have just been steady, but we would have considered that a victory. Then we had the big sell-off in the board. Then we had news that was never confirmed at all on Thursday, that Tyson had some kind of cyber attack and they'd been hacked in their computer system. Never an official statement, but just more bearishness and fear that added on to the sell-off that happened on Thursday. But pretty dang frustrating as far as things go, but it'll be interesting to see what happens here on Friday afternoon. Don't forget your punchy picks. We've gotten a bunch of good punchy picks so far this month, and here just a few days from now, and with the holiday involved, it's going to seem like pretty quick that we award the next winner for the Punchy Pick of the Month contest. And don't forget, whenever you snap that punchy pick, email it in to punchy@nationalbeefwire.com. The grand prize winner gets some really cool stuff from Beaver Feed Company in Beaver, Oklahoma. A lot of cool swag from Beaver County Stockyards. And then the biggest part of the grand prize is a whole case of Fair Piece. And by now you guys know what Fair Piece is all about, but I'm going to attach another video at the end of this feeder flash video to give you guys a little more idea of what it's all about. Let's talk about your board on Thursday. December live cattle futures were down 302 at 174.75. And we've been in a bastard month here with no November live cattle, so they've been able to jack with the board all they wanted to without any repercussions at all. February down 345 at 175.32. All your back months of live cattle were down from 2 1/4 to 337. Feeder cattle for November down just a nickel because they've got to meet up with cash prices here within just a few days. So they can't spin that thing out of control. 229.37 on the close of your November feeder cattle. January down 340 at 227.50. Your back months on feeder cattle down 340 to 380. Ouch. Boy, it takes a lot of days of just moderate gains to offset those big sell-offs. December corn up 4 cents at 4.74 3/4. January beans down 24 3/4 cents at 13.60 1/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for December down 12.5 cents at 6.27 1/4. Fat cattle trade, we did see some trade on Thursday, mostly out of fear. Your cattle feeders, the few that sell negotiated, were holding pretty tough earlier in the week, thinking that they would at least get steady money at 180, but then with the big sell-off and the fears and the rumors and everything that went around, a lot of them took the 178, which was readily available out there. Iowa sold 3,600 on Thursday. They've sold 6,000 for the week already, but live sales 176 to 178, and dress sales from 278 to mostly 282. Nebraska, 6,200 head sold on Thursday, 13,800 head for the week. That's just about half what they normally do, but if they were really resisting prices, we would have thought it would have been less than that. But live sales in Nebraska, 177 to 178. Dress sales all at 282. Those live prices are $2 to $3 lower than last week. Dress sales $2 to $5 lower. Kansas sold 4,700 head confirmed on Thursday, only 5,200 head for the week. Live sales 175 to mostly all 178, $2 lower. A little bit of dress trade in northern Kansas at 281. Texas sold 5,400 head, about 5,800 head for the week, almost twice as many as they sold last week altogether. But one live price at 178, and that's actually $3 lower in Texas. Box beef cutout values were lower again. Choice cuts down 161 at 294.72 as everybody's got their mind on turkey. Selects down 20 cents at 267.65. Your slaughter through the first 4 days of the week, 495,000 estimated harvest. That's just 2,000 less than the previous week and 17,000 less than the same week a year ago. Actual slaughter information come in for the week ending November the 4th. Had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 927 pounds. That's 1 pound lighter than the previous report. Talk about what else is going on Performance Livestock Analytics. With that software, you can eliminate handwritten notes, double data entry, or complicated software with one easy-to-use solution. For more information, go to performancelivestockanalytics.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DVAuction late in the day on Thursday set at 225.86. That's down 33 cents. And so we held up kind of steady on Wednesday, and then that was kind of an encouraging thing. But then, when the board does what it does, it just can't, you can't fight it. And lost 33 cents, which is not huge, but on a 7-day moving average after we'd kind of short things up, it's a little disappointing there. CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index, latest available was 228.76. Coming to you here from Fallon, Nevada. Going to be working a 2-day sale at Nevada Livestock Marketing. Going to be selling start at noon out here Pacific. So that's 2 o'clock out in the central part of the world, or the United States. But having a 2-day sale, around 6,000 head, give or take 1,500 or 2,000. But having a 2-day sale. Going to sell all afternoon and up into the night on Friday, and then start back again on Saturday morning and finish it up. So you can get on to DVAuction.com, view and bid that sale. We will have somebody there taking the bids on DVAuction. So if you're interested in doing that, call in, get approved, at least get on and watch the sale and see how things are going. Talk about your big sales on Thursday. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas sold 3,000 head. Poor market reporting in Kansas makes it really tough to see what's going on. Basically, the calves were higher, but it was hard to tell how much with the big trend swings that they give you there in Kansas. Big feeders were cheaper, of course, with the board being down like it was. Winter Livestock in Pratt has pretty much the same problem there with their reporting, but they sold 1,900 head a week ago, and a year ago in Pratt they sold about 4,100. So a lot lighter there, and it's just amazing to me that we keep coming up with all these placements. But your steer calves $3 to $8 lower, but stick out deal on some yearling steers in Pratt was 59 steers weighed 820 at 235. Thought that was pretty impressive. And just if I didn't mention your cattle on feed estimates, November 1st inventories are expected to be 102, so if they come in lighter than that, that would be bullish. October placements are cranked way up there on the expectations at 107, so if they come in closer to 100 or perhaps even less, which is highly doubtful, that would be bullish. And the October marketing's at 98.1% because of the light harvest that we've seen. But your Ogallala Livestock Auction in Ogallala, Nebraska sold 3,900, and steer calves there weighing 4.5 to 6.5 were steady to $9 higher because they had the big sell-off last week with the board being down a week ago. But heifer calves weighing under 500 were 7 to 15 higher. Your bigger heifer calves over 500 were $4 to $17 lower, and just very, very erratic with your price trends there in Ogallala, and that's the way they sold. Ogallala was your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day. The quotes are still very impressive. Look at your automated market report through Cattle Market Central, and you see 402 steer calves weighing in the 4 weights. They average 442 at 319.44. 514 head of 5-weight steers in Ogallala, average 548 at 282.10. 376 head of 6-weight steer calves in Ogallala, average 641 at 249.62. And then jump to the 8 weights. They had 201 head of 8 weights, averaged 853 at 231.46, which is pretty impressive actually. On some heifers, 244 heifers weighing in the 4s, average 449 at 273.13. 382 head of 5-weight heifers, average 537 at 252.08. And 493 head of 7-weight heifers in Ogallala, Nebraska, had a weighted average weight of 763 pounds, weighted average price of $218.37. Individual quote, how about Enid Livestock Market in Enid, Oklahoma? Dakota Davis there, 53 lightweight steer calves, weighed 448 and bring 329, which would be a pretty good price there, sitting there in Oklahoma. But the most impressive quote that I heard of or saw anywhere on Thursday in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day, come out of Valentine Livestock Auction in Valentine, Nebraska, was 87 weaned steers come from the Craig Miles family. They weighed 591 and bring 301. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.
So my dad was a veterinarian growing up, always been on the ranch here. I love the ranch life and I like the medicine. Having my own herd, my clients come in and say, I want to do what you do. Or they'll see something in a magazine, what do you think of this? Figuring I've already probably played with it on my own herd. So I saw Fairpeas and thought, well, this is going to be foo-foo dust. But I will try it because I know some clients are going to say, what do you think of it? Have you tried it? So I weaned my first set of calves and I did the whole herd, 100% of them. And we were working cattle and I walked out. They'd been weaned the day before. We processed them the morning after we get them home. We haul them home from about 20 miles away. So after I'd done the first group of calves that I had processed before, the steers, they were all laying down or they were at the bunk. And I'm like, oh, you guys got to come out and see this. And so they all come out and they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. But we'd done the whole group, everybody was quiet, and I'm like, okay, so we need to split this baby up. And so the second time we weaned, I did my steers with the Fairpeas, and I skipped the heifers. And so I was kind of monitoring. First day, the steers cleaned the bunk. The heifers, I bet they ate 25%. We had to scatter it through the bunk, fluff it up. They didn't even eat enough to refill the bunk. The next day, and I kind of watched to see the heifers definitely never settled down. They were in and out, they were circling, they didn't care to eat. The steers, they'd go to the water tank, they would drink. They didn't just leave because everybody else leave. They meandered around the pen by themselves. They weren't circling. And the appetite was so much better. And so then I saw this on the next day and I videoed that I pulled up to the bunk and all the steers were at the bunk. 6 of the heifers were at the bunk, and when he pulled up with the feed wagon, all the heifers ran to the back side of the pen who had not received the Fairpeas, and the steers backed up about 12 feet, and as soon as he had moved on down the bunk, they were back at the bunk eating. And I'm like, this is really, really cool. Kind of curious to see what would happen if I treated the calves while we were processing them with Fairpeas and see when we got to the summer pasture whether they would be as reactive up there as if I had not used the Fairpeas. And so we hauled them, and the calves, they pair up better, they're more calm, they aren't circling pens when they can't find mama. They're quieter, you hardly hear the calves bawl at all, a little bit of talking. But it seems like when I have done that, when mama comes or the cows start to cry, the calves hear her and they pair up easier. I did have a client who, after using it last year, thinks everything that he buys will receive it, which I think it's a no-brainer.